No, he actually did get one lap, but it was about 3 seconds off the pace, an 18.847. Actually, that's about 4 seconds off.
Well, seeing that these cars get around this track in more, say, 15 seconds per lap with just under 30 seconds left to go, maybe he can squeeze in 2, maybe 3 laps here, trying to get those speeds up on the time chart.
He just went down to 15.41.
That doesn't look too promising, as he had just went around, and we have just about 5 seconds left in this practice session before we head on to qualifying.
And after qualifying, we will have our driver picks of who we think will win this race tonight. And that should be very, very interesting to hear. And end of the practice session coming up. About 5 seconds left. Few cars slipping in the usual end of practice shenanigans.
And the flagman is showing the red and black flag to signal that practice is over, and the 55 of Ryan Williams is the fastest car on track right now.
And qualifying has begun. Drivers have 5 minutes to get laps in.
And this is a kind of different setup than they usually have in NASCAR itself, because instead of having your take your green flag, then white flag, and the checkered flag, there's actually 3 laps of qualifying. So you have an extra lap to try to build up your speed to get that final lap down.
Yeah, that extra lap of qualifying is always beneficial, because in case, hey, maybe I slipped up here, or maybe I left a little something on the table not knowing what my car would do. That extra lap's always helpful.
And already, first time to get pole is currently Ryan Williams at a 14.873. He's a 10th up on John Quinn at a 14.998. Those are the only 2 drivers in the 14-second bracket.
Yeah, Ryan Williams laid it down right there, and I guess as Larry Mack would say, I wouldn't be too shocked if Ryan just pulled it off right there and just told him have at it.
And it looks like our top 5 has stayed the exact same than what we had before, than what we had in practice. So looks like these top 5 guys, and we see Alex Gordon moves up to 6. Maybe these guys will be the cream of the crop for tonight's race.
Still have about 3.5 minutes left here for anyone to get laps in that need to. But currently it's Ryan Williams, John Quinn, Jeffrey McClintock, Kyle Young, Ben Atkins, Alex Gordon, Rob Kuroga, Zach Johnson, Dante Rickey, Jeffrey Stanton, Bradley Perez, and Tristan Hagenstein. Currently 12 cars have taken laps. We had 14 in practice, so I don't know any 2 that have not made laps yet, but I will check on that.
It looks like Brandon LaRoe and our pace car driver for tonight have not taken their time.
Oh, right. And we are currently waiting for anyone who has not made laps and does not plan to either get on track and run their laps or just go ahead and retire, because they are holding up the practice at this point. And Mario, you might want to check if you've done that or not.
Yeah, but as it stands right now, I think it's pretty safe to say I think Ryan's got this pole run pretty much in hand.
And in a little bit of a development here, Ben Atkins has disqualified himself. He will be starting at the back of the pack. Do not know the reason why he decided to go backwards, but he has done it, and he will be starting at the rear of the field for tonight. It'll be fun to see our in-race reporter move up through the field in this 60-lap race.
And when you look at it, when you think about it, 60 laps in this race technically is not a lot of time to actually make it to the front, because these drivers are running 15 seconds lap, which means 4 laps per minute. So per se, there's not a lot of time for anybody to move positions or go around the track.
And really, if this race runs caution-free, as fast as they're running 15 seconds a lap, this race will be done in 15 minutes. Because they can get in 4 laps a minute. Divide 60 by 4, you got 15 minutes right there. So it's going to be a fast race if nothing goes wrong. But that's a big if.
You know, you also have to account for the fact that with the yellows and the fact that we are going to restart with a giant pack, and with how much room there is on this track, we could see some 3 wide, which could potentially lead to problems.
Especially with some less experienced or less talented drivers in the back of the field. I mean, we have people that are 7/10 off the pace. And we have some fast people going to the back, too, like Atkins, Leroux. So, there could be a problem in that pack.
"20 seconds left, and it looks like, along with Ben Atkins, Brandon Leroux will be also starting at the rear. So, Team ISRA deciding to go at it from the rear.
Leroux actually crashed on his qualifying lap. We didn't get to see any of it because in RRTV you can't see anyone else's qualifying, but and they are now in happy hour, so let's go through our starting grid. On the front row is Ryan Williams and John Quinn. Row 2, Jeffrey McClintock, and Kyle Young. Row 3, Alex Gordon and Rob Kroga. Row 4, Zach Johnson and Dante Ricci. Row 5, Jeffrey Stanton and Bradley Perez. Row 6, Tristan Hagenstein and Ben Atkins. And row 7 will be Brandon Leroux by himself, I believe, because I do not think Xander Clemens is racing. Alright, so our picks for tonight. Who wants to go first?
I will go ahead and go first here, and this is the only car that I've seen who can go multiple laps and keep his car under him throughout a long run, and that's the 91 car of John Quinn, and I think he's going to end up winning this race just based off of consistency.
My pick for tonight is the number 55 of Ryan Williams. He's been the fastest here by far throughout any testing and practice and qualifying as we just seen. And I think he is the driver to be here tonight. If nothing goes wrong, he has this race in hand. But it's going to be a tall order as he has had terrible luck in the past.
All right, my pick for tonight will be driver number 93, Reese's Chevrolet of Kyle Young. Kyle has shown that he is a very talented racer at all types of tracks, but especially dirt racing. So in his prime kind of racetrack and type of racing, starting right behind the leader, I feel like if everything goes right his way, that Kyle will be sitting in victory lane at the end of this race.
You stole my number. Anyways, about 13 minutes left here in happy hour. We have a big pack on the backstretch right now with a 21, 15, 91, 5, 09, 27, and 61 in it. And they are going at it. John Quinn has wrecked.
Looks like John on the car.
Never mind. Leroux has wrecked again. Then just barrel rolled.
Everybody using these final minutes in practice to try to get their cars set up and ready to go for this 60-lap event. These guys are trying to get in their correct mindset as we see cars barrel rolling down pit road. It's an interesting sight to see here.
Yeah, we've got about 12 minutes left in practice here, happy hour. I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be using all that entire 12 or if we're just going to go early at it.
You know, a lot of these guys need all the time they can have on track, just for the fact that this is such a challenging racetrack and kind of race to actually be driving in, because you have to be so consistent in your moves, and one slip up will cause you to the entire race.
Put the stream online.
actually now up at the top of the board. Jeffrey McClintock is up in the second. I don't see Ryan Williams up there on the practice sheet, so he may be skipping happy hour. Looking at other things, Stanton in the number 61 car who arrived at the track late, he's starting to slowly improve. He's down to a 1540. The little amount of practice he's had, it's pretty good.
Our other late entrant is the 15 of Bradley Perez, who's currently in 11th place, running a 1564.
He was the second slowest car in qualifying, and oh my, the 61 and the 16 just got in a wreck.
I am noticing at least some of the drivers who are down toward the bottom of the practice and happy hour charts, a lot of them are running the higher line on the racetrack. Now, it may be the slower line, but it's also a lot more stable up there, so there could be some drivers looking more for driver comfort and stability more than speed.
Few cars spinning in turn 2 right now. Turn 2 is definitely going to be a trouble spot tonight. Oh, we got more wrecking there. 61's going to need to back up. Our in-race report of Ben Atkins just spun coming out of turn 2 as well.
Now the pit exit for tonight, it looks like it's really treacherous just to try to get out on the track. Not to mention the fact that you're trying to get around other people on track. So you have to keep an eye out for that one right there, because that's going to cause a lot of problems here today.
Yeah, the pit entrance and the pit exit it's very tricky. It's kind of one of those things where you're going to have to at least have some respect. So if you're leaving pit road and they're coming, I mean, common sense should dictate that you shouldn't try to work your way out in front of them. I mean, with the gearing we have for this race, first gear is so tall that it's going to take a little bit to get up to full speed. And if you try to merge out and in front of the pack that's coming, even if they're like 2.5, 3 seconds back, it's not going to work, and it's just going to cause problems.
And also, if you've had to make a pit stop under green flag conditions, you're pretty much automatically out of the race unless you get real lucky with a caution.
Yeah, which honestly, if you have to make a green flag stop here, your race is pretty much over. It's kind of like back in the old days of Bristol before we had the free pass and the wave around. If you fell multiple laps down to a green flag pit stop, it's pretty much impossible to make it back up.
And we just had a big wreck on the front stretch. Rob Kroga hit the beginning of the pit wall and then clipped Dante Ricky, sending Ricky flipping down the front stretch. That was a big accident, and Ricky's just impaled the pit wall on exit, just showing you how treacherous this pit road really is. Again, hopefully no one has to make green flag pit stops. At that point, they are pretty much out of the race.